So Peter, thanks for joining us. I know you're a busy man, so thanks for taking the time to speak to us today. Obviously it's been a crazy year for everybody over the whole world, but how's things been at Allied over the course of the last year and so?
So it's been tough, it's been a challenging year, that's for sure. Like a lot of businesses, on the 23rd of March last year we were forced to close, and we only remained open in a couple of departments where we maintained emergency service vehicles, so ambulances and police cars and that sort of thing. But gradually things started to open back up again for us. So in June we were back kind of maybe 50%, and then it's opened up since then. Again, another step back at the end of the year when we went into the second lockdown. But most of our markets were able to continue trading through that. So certainly our wheelchair accessible vehicles that are an essential product, we were able to continue trading. Our taxi market, where we manufacture and sell taxis, has certainly been quiet because with the closure of hospitality and tourism and all those sorts of things, the exhibitions, taxi drivers have been very quiet, so they've not really been interested in buying a new taxi. But we can't complain. We came through a difficult patch, and sadly in the tail end of last year we had to lose some people, like a lot of businesses. But we're certainly in a much stronger position now, and if anything we're a much more lean business as we come out the other end of the pandemic, and we're in very good shape going forward.
Cool. And obviously the Speedway season got postponed because, as you said, March was kind of the time it was all going to kick off. It got postponed, and then we pulled out ourselves before the league was then cancelled. From that, how kind of difficult a decision was that around that sort of time for the...
It was a difficult decision because nobody really knew how bad it was going to get at that point, and it was kind of, which way do we go with this? But certainly just we get the feeling that it wasn't going to happen, and if it was going to happen, it would certainly be very challenging circumstances. So for us, it turned out to be the right decision, obviously, and I know some people questioned it at the time that it was too early, but just from the information we had at the time and what we knew, we certainly thought that this was going to be here for a good bit longer, and that it would be very difficult for the season to run. So difficult decision, because we enjoy Speedway, we know all our fans enjoy Speedway, but I think certainly the safety of everyone, certainly our own staff and our fans was priority, and our riders ultimately, and mechanics and everyone else who goes along with it. So that was the main reason behind that decision.
And have you missed it? Obviously it's been October 2019 since we last had a meeting here.
I have missed it, yeah, you do miss it. I mean, don't get me wrong, with all the challenges that were going on in the main business and Allied, it would have been a bit of a distraction. It was good in one sense that we were able to put all our focus into the business and make sure that we came out in good shape from that. But you do miss it. You do miss it the weekend. You do miss that competitive element from it. You do miss the chat, the banter, seeing the fans. So we have missed it, and we're looking forward to getting going again now.
And what about over the course of, obviously the season wasn't on, but there was still communication with riders and fans and stuff like that. How did that feel?
I mean, I know we were probably quite quiet on social media. You've had an extended holiday, let's say, and it's difficult for other people to fit it in. So I know we were quite quiet compared to some clubs, but the work didn't stop. We were certainly communicating with the riders. We've been organising visas and vans and keeping in touch with them and everything else to make sure that they're still available. We had the challenge with Connor, that ultimately Connor made the decision at that point not to come over. And then was replaced with Jack, so we're really pleased we've got a ready-made replacement in Jack. He's raring to go. He's got something to prove, so really hope to see big things from Jack this year. Other than that, track work was the main thing. It really gave us the opportunity to really fix the track, because if you remember winter 18-19, it was a really, really bad winter. So the track work that we did, we never really got to see the benefit because the track never got to settle. So having this kind of period of not racing, the work that Chris and Paul and Jacqueline as well have put in has been monumental, and we've already seen from the practice at the weekend we'll have massive benefit from that. We've now got a proper surface, whereas previously we were kind of down to the base, so we've now got a proper surface we can play with. We upgraded all the drainage again, so hopefully, we've not seen any puddles, no matter how much rain we've had. We've not seen any puddles lying in the bends, so hopefully that limits the amount of rain-offs that we might have through the season.
Yeah, and obviously as well, although you said we were quiet, but how did it feel getting some of the messages of support and stuff we got from the fans and sponsors over the...
It was great. The support was phenomenal. Again, especially when we decided to pull out of the season. In the main, everyone said, that was the right decision, and it was great the support we had from the fans, especially the season ticket holders who, pretty much to a person said, just keep our season ticket for the following season, which was great. It really helped the club. Sponsors as well, they were massively supportive, saying, listen, we'll just support you, just carry that on to the following season. So, that was great to see as well, and made us feel really proud.
Yeah, great. And so looking forward then, rather than looking back, let's look ahead to the season coming up. We've just announced the deal with QTV. So could you tell us a wee bit more about that and how it's going?
We've looked at it. We've obviously been following the guidelines in terms of what we're allowed to do. I think most people know the guidelines in Scotland are different to those in England. In England, from the 17th of May, we assume that outdoor events can have 50% of your capacity, or 4,000 people, whichever is the lesser amount. So the clubs in England are pretty much free to move, because they won't get more than that in terms of capacity. For us, what makes Ashfield really special in terms of getting really close to the action is kind of the downside when it comes to social distancing, because we've got a small stand that only holds 330 people. We've got narrow walkways, we've got kind of narrow toilets. So most people would tend to congregate either in the back straight or on the fourth bend in the enclosure. So for us, we just looked at it and said, well, can we get running right away in terms of being able to start the season in May? And the only way to really do that is to do a stream, and ultimately we need to be able to still pay the riders and pay for the ambulance and everything else, so we have to do that through pay-per-view. So when we looked at that, we said, well, we can either do this ourselves, buy a camera and try and do it ourselves, or try and do it a real professional way. So that's why we decided to partner with QTV. So QTV is the company that's over this period of COVID has done most of the football clubs in Scotland, so St Mirren TV, Hamilton TV, and it's real quality. It's a quality production, professional, camera operators and everything else, and clearly we're looking to get some professional commentary as well. So for us, we want a real polished, stream, if you like, and the hope is that Glasgow fans will clearly watch it, the away team will watch it, and that it will go further afield. We've got an American, we've got an Australian, we've got a Dane, two Danes. So the hope is that more people will watch it, and once we announce it, it'd be great if everyone can share it, so that we get people in Poland maybe paying for it or whatever. And we're fortunate that we've got a really good racetrack that generally delivers really exciting racing. So no matter where you are in the world, whether you're a Tigers fan or not, if you like speedway and you like to watch good, exciting speedway racing, and guys like Craig Cook, who are always exciting, then hopefully we can get loads of people watching it. It is a bit of a punt, because if there's no fans coming in, if we don't get the number of streams, clearly to put on a production with QTV is more expensive than it might be doing it another way. But it's a risk we're willing to take, because we know the fans will be disappointed they're not able to come, so we want to make sure that we can get the experiences as close as possible. So it will be multiple cameras and everything else that you see. So we want it to be a really polished production. In terms of season ticket holders, we will point out to season ticket holders, because clearly they've already purchased the season. So what we'd envisage is, whilst it's behind closed doors, they would certainly get the stream free, and then we'll make up the difference to them, whether that be in vouchers for the shop or whatever. That's still to be decided, and we'll communicate that with the fans once we've decided what we're doing there.
So that's great on that bit, but as you know and as I know, there's lots of other things going on behind the scenes. So what's going on at the moment that the fans might want to hear about? Just
as I said, the track work's been the big thing. The riders, getting the riders all geared up. They're coming up for another practice next weekend. So they certainly, most of them were here at the weekend just gone, and really enjoyed the track in terms of the work that's been done. So there's lots of work there, there's lots of work getting done at the stadium. As always, we'll start ramping up our social media again now that you're back in the frame. So lots on the go, just really looking ahead to the season. There's been organising visa for Brock, our two Danes, we're still trying to get them in the frontier workers permit that we need to get, and if they don't do that, we're going to have to go down the visa route. So vans, travel, just all the usual stuff that you organise, race suits, just all the stuff that we organise before the season starts. And there's a website getting worked on at the moment as well. Yes, so thanks for reminding me. To put that in. Yeah, so we've got a new website that's getting worked on that we'll be launching shortly, that kind of modernises it as well and moves it forward. And away from the sort of admin and businessy side of the things, looking forward to the season, how do you feel about the team? And obviously, as you say, we had Connor unfortunately decided to drop out and Jack came in, but how do you feel about the team's chances over this year? No, I think we've got a good chance. It's we've built this team slightly differently this year, where we always wanted to have a strong reserve, if you like, at least one of the reserves really strong. So if you look at our team, some of them are on what I would say is a false average for the potential that they can either achieve or that they've achieved in the past. Ricky, Ulrich, Justin, Brock, they've all got huge potential to really up their game. You know what you're going to get from Craig. Generally speaking, he's going to win the vast majority of races he's in, home or away, which is great. You've got that real talisman. But again, as I say, with Jack, he's really got something to prove, because he has had it tough in the last couple of years since he started his career. And he's got all the potential in the world. He was flying around the track when he came up last weekend. So we're pretty confident against that. There's some really strong teams in the league this year. There's no doubt about that. When you look through all the teams, there's some real tough teams there. So as usual, our aim will to be at least reach the playoff that we've achieved in the last 5 years. So that'll be our first aim, and then hopefully we can go on and win silverware. That's how we start every season. That's our intention to do that. So that's what we'll try this year.
There's the issue of some riders that have not been on the bike in a certain length of time and had to pick up other jobs to kind of cover themselves off the back of that as well. So probably there's quite a lot of uncertainty on things and how things will go.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that have been off the bike since October, I suppose, 2019. So 18 months. So some of them have been riding though. So Justin's been riding in Australia, or Dane's have been riding in Denmark. So some of them have had action, and then obviously they're getting practice as well. So hopefully they can just pick up where they left off. But it'll be interesting, certainly.
Make it exciting anyway, won't it? And finally, just if you've got any messages for the fans ahead of the year.
Just to say thanks very much again for bearing with us. Our priority has always been the safety of the fans, and that will continue to be the case. So that's why we're not in any rush to bring fans back, if you like, until we're absolutely certain it can be safe. We know the impact that this pandemic has had on people's lives. We know the impact it's had on business. We know what's involved to do proper social distancing. And we'll keep our options open in terms of when we're ready to bring the fans back. But just to say thanks very much for the support as always. We know that there's nothing like it when the fans are back in the stadium, and as soon as we believe that we're able to do that and it's safe to do that, that's what we'll do. And as I say, we'll start ramping up the communication to the fans so they know what's going on, and doing more interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, just I hope they're all keeping well and safe, and I hope it's not been too tough for the last 18 months, and we look forward to showing them some speedway, on the TV or on the computer initially, but then can't wait to get them back into the stadium and see them face to face.
Brilliant. Right, thanks very much.
Okay,
cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.